You are an instructor at a magical academy, but you are no wizard, warlock, sorcerer, or witch. No, you aren't magical at all, but that doesn't mean your classes are easy. The felt-tipped pen squeaked against the whiteboard as I wrote down in fully capitalized letters the subject of my class. Mundane Studies. I spoke firmly, the badge on my lapel doing all of the hard work in so far as ensuring my voice would be heard throughout the classroom. The study of the mundane. This elicited a wave of laughter. It was one of the few times I deliberately invoked humor. The study of mundanity is the study of the lack of magic, I stated. And the lack of magic can be one of the most dangerous things in the world. This elicited another laugh, which I silenced by picking up my pistol and shooting at an ever-repair vase. The laughter turned to screams of shock and fear. I placed the gun back on my desk. The lack of magic can be one of the most dangerous things in the world, I reiterated. The M1911, also known as a Colt 1911, or the Colt government. This is a single-action recoil-operated semi-automatic pistol, which uses a .45 APC cartridge. This is a deadly weapon, and not a single thing about it is magical. All eyes were on me. The room was deathly silent. The headmaster has allowed me, once per term, to fire this gun, to give you an example of why this class is to be taken deadly seriously. There is no repel charm that can reflect a bullet, only divert it. There is no spell that can stop it mid-flight, maybe slow it down, but not enough to make it any less deadly. I picked up the gun and placed it in the box I kept it in. I am not a wizard, nor am I a sorcerer. The path of a witch holds no interest for me, and I have rejected every deal from beings both benevolent and malign. I am completely and utterly mundane. A tentative hand rose. Yes, Mr. Galveston, I asked. But pardon me, sir, but how are you teaching here? He asked. You mean how am I capable of piercing the veil and standing in this room with you all? I asked. I was invited. This elicited a wave of murmuring. I wiped the board and wrote down the word invitation. The act of invitation is to imbue a mundane with a fraction of power. Not enough for them to use, but enough that, by thinking about it, we can cross over to this side of the veil. Anything we bring comes with us. This includes guns. This includes poisons. And that includes a myriad of dangerous, mundane things. I turned around. The only things that do not work are advanced machinery. Anything that relies on complex wiring, circuitry, or similar. Clockwork still functions, and any analog equipment will perform exactly as expected. This is why my gun works. Another hand raised. Yes, Miss Staley. Isn't this class pointless if the only people who get invitations are those we can trust? She asked. A good question. I took the gun out, removed the magazine, and unchambered the bullet. I then slipped in a magazine full of bullets. Come up to the front of the class. She stood up and approached. She was suddenly self-conscious. I have filled this gun with a type of bullet known as a blank, I stated. I racked the slide. Blanks are a type of bullet that only have the propellant inside. There are no tips. They are still dangerous. I held the gun out. She reached for it cautiously, and I caught her wrist, startling her. Not like that, I said. Anyone hands you a gun, except in this one instance, they probably want you to do something for them, whether it's as simple as putting your fingerprints on it or to get you to shoot someone. Here is how you hold it properly. I had her hold it, told her to keep her finger off the trigger and to grasp it firmly. Point at that vase over there, I said. Her hands were trembling. I had her put her finger on the trigger, and the gun erupted with a burst of wild, uncontrolled magic. She screamed, dropping it, and the gun fell, but it slowed as it neared the ground. "That," I said, picking up the gun, "that is the reason why this class is important. Please be seated." She was shaking, trembling, but she sat down. Shit like this was par for the course here. The students needed to learn the dangers. "The gun has blanks in it," I said, unloading it. "As it is right now, if one of you took it, it wouldn't work for you. Not as effectively, at least. Your natural talent for magic allows you to use practically anything you want as a focus for your spells. This gun, like every other one like it, can become even deadlier in the hands of a mage." I put it back in its box. "With a proper bullet, you can charge any kind of spell you can think into it. The Infernus Incant, for instance. A single bullet with that spell will result in the complete evisceration of anyone that it hits. There have been rogue wizards who got their hands on a gun and ammo, and they ruined entire towns before the authorities could stop them. And allow me to remind you, guns are only the tip of the iceberg. Alchemy, for instance, can be greatly improved with the understanding of mundane chemistry. With an understanding of the mundane aspects of reality, simply knowing how reality works, how it's put together, can make even a novice mage as powerful as the grand masters of old." I clapped my hands together, startling them. "From this day forward, you will undertake the most grueling class this academy has to offer. Make it through my class grants you the prerequisite for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEM, for short." I looked each student in the eye. "It is my duty, as your teacher, to prepare you so that you have the understanding you need to interact with my side of the veil. Because while you are significantly weaker there, what we have can end lives before you even know what you've done." I let my words linger there for a moment. "Class is dismissed. You are allowed to linger for the remaining 15 minutes, and you are allowed to leave the classroom. I have permission slips written out ahead of time," I said. "Meditate on what I have taught you, what you have seen, and remember that the baseline for a gun is still enough to severely injure or even outright kill you, even with all the protection in the world." I was unsurprised when the class gathered their permission slips and left.